All right, welcome everybody to the morning after. I'm Marcus Mulek, Anna Vossler, and we have the man Wills Reid in the house. Wills, thanks for joining us, man. So before we get into Bachelor in Paradise, we want to talk a little bit about your Bachelorette season with Becca. Right. How has life changed for you since you've been off the show? You've been back home. How are things?
It's been exciting. I've been having a lot of people reach out, a lot of admiration and respect for my time there. I was kind of a late addition to the show, so my whole process, my whole time, I was just kind of thrown in, and I felt like I did really well, and I made a lot of people proud, and I'm happy with my performance, and I didn't leave when I wanted to. Obviously, I wanted to stay till the end, obviously, but I think I did everything I wanted to do, and in the moment.
I want to know, has there been a spike in male romper sales since your time on The Bachelorette?
I don't know. That's a question for whatever that company is, Rompim or whatever. But my clothes were two pieces. They weren't rompers. I know everyone wants to say they're rompers, but they were short shirt, separates that I put together.
Got it.
You busted out since.
Have I busted out since? I have one in the wings. I almost wore it to a pool party on the weekend, but I'm gonna wait.
Will we see it? Will we see your romp him in Paradise? Because
no.
it's a Paradise vibe. It's very tropical.
No, you won't see that in Paradise, but you'll see some pretty wild shirts.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You saw two in the first episode.
Yeah, you're starting off with a bang.
It's kind of become your thing, like the wild and fun shirts. Is that so? I heard, is this true, that you actually got cast for Paradise or cast for The Bachelorette while you were on lunch break, just in a record store?
That's true.
What were you doing?
I was leaving the store buying headphones, replacement headphones.
Where was this?
This was in downtown Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I was walking back to work, and I got stopped by a casting director, and I immediately thought she was someone of, questionable situation, and I was skeptical, obviously, just being in
like a whole different kind of industry, maybe
exactly.
they wanted you for.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of that?
Not at all. But I was just very, very skeptical because she was yelling, and there was a lot of people out there. There was probably at least 300 people out there, and she was yelling, and I thought it was just some other situation, so I just kept walking. But she insisted, so finally I turned around, and I saw that she was looking directly at me, and then we had a discussion.
So the first question, are you single? So the first thing she asked, basically?
Yeah, she's like, are you single? Where are you going? I was just like, this is kind of intrusive, because she didn't explain who she was. That was just her first question. So I was just like, oh yeah, I'm single, I'm going back to work. What do you want from me?
And how long from that moment until you were on The Bachelorette?
About a week and a half.
Wow.
So you were literally the last addition then to the show.
I think so.
So did you go back to work after your lunch break, quit your job, and head home?
No, I made sure I went back to work and played it cool. But then I would talk to my parents about it, talk to my family about it, and then I made an educated decision. Then I talked to work about it.
And were your parents supportive of you going on the show?
Absolutely, I wouldn't have done it if they weren't supportive.
What about? Did you know who Becca was then? Had you known anything about that season?
I knew a little bit about Becca. I didn't watch Ari's season, but I knew a little bit about the whole, broken engagement thing. But that's all I really knew about her.
Do you think you were better off going into it not knowing as much?
That's one of the first conversations I had with Becca was, once I found out she was a Bachelorette, I purposefully didn't go back and watch her season because I wanted to get to know her face to face, and I didn't want to get to know a media's portrayal of her.
And what did you think of the finale?
It was tough. It was tough to watch. I love Blake and Garrett, and it was just tough to see anyone, really get down and get their heart broken. I've been there. Blake was sweating like a madman.
He was sweating so much.
Sweating like a madman.
Oh my God, it was distracting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation to put in, and for someone to put that much time. I mean, I was invested in all the time I put in, and he was 3 more weeks invested in with that time, and he had a lot more time with Becca, so I can only imagine the pain he went through. But I'm also happy for Garrett as well, and their engagement.
Let's actually pour one out for Blake, maybe. We'll have a sip for Blake. So,
okay.
Blake,
Blakey, I love you.
Blake, sorry, Blake. Very sweaty.
We can cry together sometime.
Yeah. So, Wills, you were actually one of my favorites from this season because how cool and calm you were. Borderline, maybe psycho-serious though, like. How much was editing? Did they make you look that way? Did you have any fun on the show?
I had a lot of fun, but you have to understand, this is a situation that I came in towards the end. I had a week to prepare, less, and I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm just a very particular person. I want to portray myself the right way. in life as well as in, courting a partner. So I'm, not necessarily stepping on eggshells, but I want to, put my best foot forward and really show her who I am, and as well as get along with all the guys, with the producers and crew. So it was just a lot. So I was kind of, more internalized, and that's kind of what you saw on camera.
I think that is smart because we do see some like one of the guys you got in a little thing with Chris.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes because I don't know if you remember Anna, but Chris wanted more time with Becca, but it was Will's time.
Right.
And Will was like, I'll give you a minute. Chris wanted more than a minute, and Will was just like, girl, bye.
Put my foot down.
I'm gone. Bye. Put the foot down.
We only get a limited time with Becca per week, basically.
And about how much time is that?
Total, I'm going to say maybe like 14, 15 minutes total.
A week?
If you're lucky. So like the group date, you have the cocktail hour, if you're
Okay.
lucky. And then you have the cocktail hour for the rose ceremony. So you probably have like 10 minutes both times. And that week, after the Wayne Newton group date, I had, a little bit of time with her at the cocktail hour after the group date. I didn't think it went really well. It was the first time me and her had a discussion, a conversation that I didn't feel like was progressing our relationship. So I came in guns blazing for the rose, what's it called?
The cocktail.
The cocktail hour for the rose ceremony. So I was a man on a mission. And
You have to be.
Chris had his own situation. Chris had already talked to her for a while, like longer than probably anyone else had up to that point.
Longer than any of
Throughout
us
the whole
also
season.
wanted to see on television.
Yeah,
We were
It was
good.
a long time. So I was like, okay, you already had your time. So I go in guns blazing. I sit down, and it's about a minute in, and he comes in and wants to interrupt. And I'm like, my guy, you've already had your time, but I also didn't want to cover the scene in front of Becca. She knows me to be even-keeled, calm, and collected. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to give you a few minutes, but I'm going to make sure I come right back. And then when he said, can I have more time, that's when I flipped, and I was like, absolutely not.
No.
Did you feel like, because you mentioned even-keeled, calm, and collected, did you feel like there were moments where you were a little more animated, that they maybe like cut out because they were pushing that storyline for you?
I would say that moment was one of the moments where I was close to being a lot more animated and kind of losing my cool. That took a lot out of me. It was a lot of cameras around, a lot of intensity, a lot of like drama and feelings and emotions that night, because guys, it was getting closer to, guys could start to feel it. It was kind of the midway point, so guys were starting to feel, the pressure, and guys were getting whittled down, so people really wanted to make good impressions. And just to have that kind of conflict just out of the blue, I wasn't expecting it, took a lot out of me, and I was just glad the way I handled it.
I wouldn't have handled it that cool.
Are we going to
There's
see,
something.
what do you think your paradise vibe is going to be? Is it going to be that
way
calm,
more
or are we going
relaxed.
to see you
Look at
get a
this
little crazy?
background. Way more relaxed, just having fun with it. I had, more time to kind of reflect before I went to Paradise, and, Paradise to me is a lot more relaxed, and there's a lot more, members of the opposite sex so I can speak to and just have more fun with it, and we have a lot more time. I had more time with the girls in one day than I did with Becca almost half the season.
Yeah.
So just that, made it a lot better.
So you said last night that on your list was Christina Schulman. Now we haven't seen her so far.
Yeah.
Don't know if she is going to be showing up or not. Who else was on? We didn't really see you make any connections last night, though.
Yeah.
So who did show up last night? Who did you kind of have your eye on from the beginning?
I would say Kendall. Definitely. I mean, I met Kendall on the spa date, and she's always just been, a ray of light. She's an amazing person, very sweet.
Also a ray of death. She's
Yeah,
really into some weird things.
We saw her ask Grocery Joe if he'd ever seen a dead body. It was a little alarming.
That was the weirdest conversation I've seen in
quirky, but I
Paradise.
like that about her. She's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
afraid to be herself.
Okay,
You're quirky. You're quirky.
even
Exactly,
taxidermy,
exactly.
we get
Just
it.
like Jordan, like if you're not afraid to be yourself, whoever you are, you own it, and I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Bibiana as well. I did not know Bibiana before I walked down to the beach, but me and her got along great that first day. And also Astrid. Astrid had some qualities that I look for in a future partner, and I was really drawn to that. So those three girls definitely the first day.
So this first night in Paradise that we saw yesterday, you're optimistic, you're hopeful. Are you also? What are we going to see this maybe next Monday next? When are we going to see you make the connection?
You're gonna see it. I think you're gonna see it fairly soon.
Okay.
My kind of approach was I want to go down to the beach and I want to meet every girl and talk to every girl. I don't want to jump in too soon. I kind of once I go for someone, that's it. In my opinion, I don't really like flip-flopping. So the first day on the beach, I just really wanted to get to know everyone and see kind of where everyone's head was at and what they wanted out of the experience, and then I'd go from there.
Of the guys, who were you the most excited to see, and who were you the least excited to see?
Least excited to see. Sorry.
Scotty.
David, love you, man, but man, you don't know when to stop talking.
He doesn't know.
Love you, buddy, but like, come on, man.
David, no, I want talk about Dave for a second though. That dude needs to let it go. Like, he didn't look good. He needed to let that shtick go and move forward.
Yeah, I don't understand the obsession with Jordan either. But,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, whatever,
weird.
that's-
I'm obsessed with Jordan, but it's a different kind of
I love
way.
Jordan, but it's
What was
different.
our favorite Jordan line from last night?
What was? I like the
we have?
Vietnam.
Oh, the 50
Colton
cents.
showing
The
up as
50 cents.
Christmas
Right,
Vietnam.
50 cents.
By far, oh my
But
goodness. That
what was
so
the 50
good.
cents
It
line
was,
again?
oh my
If
goodness.
I bet 50 cents on.
Something about.
What are you talking about?
Something about Colton and Tia, and he's like, I'm willing to bet 50 cents that they come back as a couple or something like that. I just thought it was so funny because I didn't get it at first. I was like, why are you betting money? That's obvious. I was like, oh, 50 cents. It's perfect.
We like the Colton showing up is Chris's
Vietnam.
personal Vietnam.
That might have been the line
Just
from the night.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. He went there. He went
Yeah.
there. But so
Favorite
David.
guy would probably be Kevin and Eric because those
Mm-hmm.
are guys that I knew about before, but I had never met in person. And they're both really sweet and really genuine and really nice guys to hang out with. Probably
Canadian Kevin, firefighter
Canadian
Kevin. Yeah.
And then Eric. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what conversations did you have right off the bat with anyone that you were like, "This is if I had a date card, this is the girl I take from this
Surprisingly,
there."
first night it was Tia and Viviana. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just immediately I felt like I had known them my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Tia I met once before on the spa date. Viviana I never met before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I got to the beach, they made me feel welcome. They made me feel warm. They just invited me in, and honestly, I just felt like we'd known each other my whole life, and it was just really easy to get to know both of them.
Okay, so I have a question though. All right, so the Tia Colton thing was a big storyline last night. At what point did you guys go to Paradise? Like, how much had people seen from Becca's season? That I'm just wondering how everyone.
Talking about like
How did everyone?
public?
Yes.
Yeah. How did everyone know
How did
about
everyone
Tia
know
and
about
Colton?
Tia and Colton?
Because you guys were shooting when Becca's season was airing. So how did everyone know about the drama?
I think everyone knew about Tia and Colton before the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Bachelor Nation is tight.
Yeah,
They
know
know
about
things.
I don't know about how much of Tia and Colton they knew, but I'm sure they knew about
They knew there was a history
Yeah,
there.
they knew there was a history.
I felt like everyone was really hard on Colton. He got there and he's just like trying to meet everyone. Like, I understand that he might not go to Tia first because he knows her. So
Yeah.
he's trying to meet other people, and people
But-
were not happy with him.
No, people were.
My thing is, I completely get that you're on Paradise to date other people.
Yeah.
But then date other people, talk to other people.
But he did. He came in and he was.
Yeah, but he gave the
talking
date card to
other
Tia
girls.
though,
I mean-
and he knew
Well,
that was
okay,
his
the
MO
other
the whole
option
time.
was Angela with that laugh. He couldn't do that for a full date.
Angela's a sweetheart.
No,
And-
that laugh was
and my
horrendous.
Thing, my thing is,
He
my
knows.
thing is
Laugh
with
isn't
Colton,
good.
sure, if you want to date other people and talk to other people, good, go for it. But my thing is, this is the third instance that there's been some kind of drama back and forth with Tia, and I'm just the person that's like, either make a decision or move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the iffiness is what gets me. And I think that's what
Yeah.
kind of got people on the beach. It's like, will they or won't they? Let's just figure it out already. Let's just handle it.
There's a quote, blank or get off the pot,
And
and
that's what my
Got
grandma
it.
used to say all the time.
yeah, Colton's not doing it. So Colton is one of the front runners, I think, or. You were my front runner for Bachelor. You were one of my front runner. You were my front runner. I told that to my wife.
Yeah.
The second you kicked off, I was like, I want Wills to be the next Bachelor. But Colton is now kind of, his name's coming up. But now I think out of nowhere, I think now Blake is another name as well.
Jason.
Jason's always, I think, been the front runner.
I'm Team Colton, let me tell you.
Grocery Joe had a shot, but
Grocery
he's
no
not
Bachelor.
not a lot going
He's no
on
Bachelor. Love him.
up there. He's a nice guy. Who is your favorite right now? Who do you want to see as the next Bachelor? Not counting yourself.
If I could pick, I'm gonna say Blake.
Blake.
I'm gonna go
So
with
why Blake over Jason?
I mean, I love them both. I don't have.
Do you think Blake's stable enough to handle a whole season
Do you
of
think
that?
they'll have to go to all cold locations because of the sweat problem?
No, with sweats. I probably would sweat the
okay,
same.
just saying.
In Paradise, I was sweating constantly. You sweat, boo boo. No, I just feel like Blake, from the beginning to the end, he was just completely sincere, completely genuine.
Yeah.
Not saying anyone else wasn't, but he was just completely invested in her, and I feel like he's someone who really deserves happiness. And I feel like stable, like that's a concept. Like everyone there had issues. Like this is a situation none of us have ever been in before. It's stressful. It's tense. and I feel like he handled it pretty well. I mean, put yourself in that situation, like being one of the final two. You spent that much time with the person that you're in love with, and you kind of feel that she's not gonna pick you. You wouldn't be feeling that's great either.
He was clearly in love. Like he was head over heels. There was no faking that. Yeah.
You can't say he's unstable. Anyone in that situation, just because it's not filmed, you're going to be feeling kind of the same way, whether you want to show it or admit to it or not.
Okay, so that love that we saw in the end of Bachelor, are we going to see some of that on Paradise? So there's some couples there that are just.
I think there's definitely going to be some love. There's going to be more love. There's more people. There's going to be more love.
Well, Chris Harrison said it's going to be the most dramatic season yet.
He did say that.
Which is hard for us to believe if you recall how last Paradise started.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I will say last night's episode did seem a little. It was a little not dull, a little muted. Well, I want to know.
We need more of that.
We're building it up for you.
Okay.
Well, after last season with what happened, how stern was production about how you guys about drinking rules? Talk about that.
To me, it kind of rolled over from Bachelorette because those those policies were already in place with Bachelorette, and it just went over.
And what are the policies?
You can only have a certain amount of drinks per hour. Everyone,
which is.
Two. It's two. Did Eric maybe sneak in a couple? Nick? What's his name? Nick? What's the blonde guy's name with the abs?
Nicky Slicks.
Nick?
No,
Nick maybe slipped a couple in there?
Follow the rules.
Are they very strict with the rules?
Yeah, I mean they have like a sheet and everything. Yeah.
I don't think Nick makes it very long on Paradise.
Don't talk about
Nick, he didn't. I don't know that Nick. I don't know about him.
I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
He's just misunderstood.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it
Another
is.
question about the drinking rules. Are there different rules for men versus women on like how many
Not
drinks
to
per
my
hour?
knowledge, I think it's the same. I'm
Okay.
not sure. I don't know.
So Wills,
Yeah.
are you in a relationship now? Did Paradise work out for you?
Because I was a little nervous for you last night.
Why were you nervous?
Because one guy's going home.
We didn't see a connection yet, and I'm like, is Will's like, come on, like get on it. You gotta get on someone here.
Both of you to have a little bit more faith in me.
I do have faith. That's why you were my pick.
A little bit more faith.
You're slow playing it, you're just playing it calm and cool. Okay, all right. Was this shirt in Paradise?
It was not.
Oh,
I saved
should've
this
been.
one just
It's
for
a
you
good one.
guys.
Okay, so Wills, I got a little game for you because I know you've called yourself kind of a nerd. All right, so I have a little nerd off. All right, we'll talk some nerdy things. First off, you have a Harry Potter tattoo.
Let's see it.
So talk about that.
Yeah, what is it?
It's Expecto Patronum. It's in J.K. Rowling's handwriting. I got it for multiple reasons. I got it obviously because I love Harry Potter, but I also got it because the Patronus charm is a charm. It's you're bringing out this ethereal creature that wards off Dementors, which is just kind of the embodiment of depression, sadness, and despair. I got it because it reminded me to always look for the light in the darkness, no matter how dark your life is. There's always going to be light as long as you just put your head down and just grit through it. So that's one reason I got it. Also, I just really like Harry Potter. I don't know.
That is 100% the best use of a Harry Potter quote.
Also, sorry, that was another part. I was sitting in a chair. I was about to get in the tattoo chair, and I was like, I need to check if this means anything. I feel like she just made it up for the book because a lot of the stuff she made up for the book. So I was like, I think she just made it up, but I need to check and just make sure there's no other meaning. So I checked and I saw it's Latin for something, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm glad I checked. But it's Latin for I await a guardian, and I still was completely
totally works out.
That's perfect.
And you didn't get it on your lower back, which is also
Is that
a
your
good
only tattoo?
choice.
It's my only tattoo. I'm gonna get another one soon with this.
What are you gonna get?
My grandma and her sister's first name in their handwriting.
And then Bibiana's name probably down that bicep. Bibiana and one of Bibiana, maybe Tia, Astrid, Crystal.
Nick.
Okay, so you got the Harry Potter. What's your favorite Harry Potter book?
My favorite book is Order of the Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix.
What number? Is that 4?
5.
5. Oh, I dropped off. Those books got real big.
Were you into the movies?
After 3, let me tell you.
Were you into the movies too?
absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Prisoner
Yeah.
of Azkaban was my least favorite.
Okay.
Half-Blood Prince was my favorite.
Okay, all right. So a little nerd off here. We got some decisions to make. So all right.
Send it.
Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Why?
I grew up with Star Wars completely. I didn't like Star Trek growing up. I recently liked Star Trek with the new J.J. Abrams movies, and I liked them a little bit more. But Star Wars is just always my thing. My brothers grew up. Their lifespan was right when the movies came out and all the new toys. So then I used to play with their toys when I was a kid, and I watched them all, and I just liked the whole just expansive world of it and the different creatures, the different cultures, and just I don't know. Star Wars.
Anna, do you agree with all that?
Far and wide.
Okay, I've seen 0 Star Trek, and I've seen half of the first Star Wars. So yeah, I agree. I like Star Wars better.
She's in 30 minutes of Star Wars, so Star Wars.
That's it. So Star Wars. That's
all
enough
you
for
need.
me. They have a tall furry creature in it. I'm into it. I sign up.
Oh, Chewbacca's the best.
Chewbacca's the best. All right. Favorite Game of Thrones character?
Ooh. I'm gonna say the Hound.
Like that choice. I like that choice.
Who's yours?
I love Jamie.
Tyrion.
I love Jamie. It's Tyrion.
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion's great too.
Tyrion's
Okay.
the
Yeah.
boss.
Do you watch
Oh,
Game?
yeah.
Do you watch Game of Thrones, Dan?
I started on Sunday.
You did? You actually
I'm
just started.
I just finished the 3rd episode.
All right. Okay. So
So,
Jamie.
I
So
like
Jamie
the girl
sucks
with
right now.
blonde
And
braids.
actually, so right now
Daenerys, yeah.
the Hound and Jamie are terrible right
Blonde
now,
braids,
but
what's her name?
they'll get better.
Daenerys.
Daenerys. Yeah.
I thought it was Khaleesi.
That's her
That's
title.
currently our title.
Her title is
Okay.
Khaleesi. God.
This isn't gonna go well.
Yeesh, you're gonna go wild. Okay, Tyrion and the Hound, good choices. All right, best Marvel movie.
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Okay, most
Or Thor Ragnarok.
my guy. That's my favorite one because I was laughing the
I
entire
was not
time.
expecting that movie to be that way.
You know, it wasn't at all.
What's the director's name?
Tico Waititi. What? Something Waititi.
Waititi.
Tico Waititi. Yeah,
Amazing.
the guy's great.
Amazing.
Most underrated Marvel movie.
Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, could be underrated. Could be underrated.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is for me. I think is very underrated.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think it's underrated.
No, that's just a fantastic movie. Childhood movie you grew up on.
Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Icebox.
The Icebox.
My first crush.
Devin
ever.
Sawa, wasn't that your crush?
Icebox.
No, whose was that? Someone was just telling us that. I
Devin
was a
Sawa.
Sandlot
Devin Sawa.
person.
Oh,
I like
Hugh
Sandlot as
Sandlot,
well.
yeah.
So Little Giants. Oh,
Little
thank you
Giants.
so much.
The annexation of Puerto Rico, still the greatest play in all of football.
I would have
Man,
been Cowboy so bad.
yeah. Oh man, that was a
The
great
nice
movie.
uniforms. Man.
Yeah, they were cool. Wills, dude, you have to come back next week because I want to.
down.
I want to ask you like after you start getting some relationships and we see more.
Give you all the tea.
Yeah, because like, all the tea.
Champagne.
So thank you, Wills, for joining us.
Thank you.
And
I feel I'm a little more comfortable knowing that you're going to be around on the show for a little longer.
Yeah, I'll be there.
that is nice to know
Yeah.
because we were a
We
little
were
worried
worried.
about you. I know, Wills, you're too cool though, man. You have to have a thing, and if you're too cool all the time, then it puts you in jeopardy a little
I do
bit.
everything. I have the shirts, I have the humor, I have the facial
Yeah, you got to stick
expressions.
around for the fashion alone.
Exactly.
You need more screen time next week. All right, that's what we're gonna see. Okay, man. Wills, thank you so much for
Cheers.
coming on.
Thanks for being
Cheers,
here with
guys.
us.
Thanks for spilling the tea, and we'll see you guys next week for more Morning After. Thank you.